Sup everyone, welcome to the Power Play with CJ. I want to focus in on our Pittsburgh Penguins season preview. I know I'm a little late in the process getting to Pittsburgh, but whatever. Definitely a great performance last night against Carolina. Really a showcase of what's to come. And I really like that Crosby, Kessel, and Kunitz line. And, you look at, obviously, adding Phil Kessel, we've talked about ad nauseum this summer. I think he's going to be a fantastic addition. But that's like saying the sky is blue. He's a hell of a player, and giving him the opportunity to play with one of the game's elite, two of the game's elite. Think about it with Crosby and Malkin. Not only is he going to have a future Hall of Fame line mate, but the second line center is also going to be taking some heat. So there's going to be a lot of opportunities there. And I'm really excited to see this team in action. Over 82 games last year, yeah, they look good, but they're playing a JV team. Let's be honest. Carolina sucks. So. Just take that with a grain of salt. But you look down the middle. Obviously, Sid and Gino are great, but the addition of Nick Bonino in the Brandon Sutter trade, they got Bonino and they got friend of the show Adam Clendenning. Those are two pretty good additions. Those are, I think Clenny can really emerge as a top 5 defenseman on this team, and I think Bonino is going to be a solid third line center, and I think in some ways he's better than Sutter. He's roughly the same age, so. I just think that they've made a lot of improvements this season. You look at Eric Fair, you look at even like Matt Cullen, who is one of the most liked guys in the league. Having guys like this on the team, it's like, Jesus, they're almost underrated in depth, I think, because they get the reputation as being so top-heavy, and rightfully so. You've got 3 guys making in excess of $8 million, with Crosby, Kessel, and obviously Evgeny Malkin. But I love, what they have outside of that as well. And, those 3 guys are going to be asked to carry a lot of the weight. And, I think with Kessel's thing, getting out of the fishbowl that is Toronto, getting to play with, some of the best players in the game, I think will work wonders for him. But, even going a step further, Patrick Hornquist, not a bad player. David Perron, not a bad player. Pascal Dupuis, coming off, the major, illness last year. If he's given a chance, he can do some things. Even the Russian kid they got, Sergei Plotnikov, they seem to be really excited about him. So I'm looking at this team like, Crosby, Kessel, and Kunitz are going to do that thing. But whoever ends up with Malkin isn't exactly chopped liver either. You're not giving Evgeny Malkin the Little Sisters of the Poor to play with. There's some pretty good, talented hockey players on this team that you can plug in next to Gino and let him do his thing. He, obviously, as good as they are, he can elevate them even further. So I'm excited to see how that second line does. Anytime you have the opportunity to watch Evgeny Malkin do his thing is pretty cool. Plus, I always think it's nice. They have Sidney Crosby, who was the first pick in 2005, and Patrick Hornquist, who was the last pick in 2005. Goes to show you, much like Tom Brady, it doesn't matter where you start. It's that you put the work in, you have the ability to get there. But going a step further, let's look at the D. They drafted and developed defensemen like crazy during the Sherrill era. Whether it's Oli Mata, it's the Pouliot, guys like that. They've really gone out there and, was it Harrington for the trade in the Kessel trade from London, and then, even a couple years before that, Morrow, who they traded in the other Morrow trade. They went heavy on the first round defenseman because, you look at it as getting good young defensemen are hard to come by, and if you can do that, you can then parlay. If you got in excess of them, which really doesn't happen, you can parlay them into young forwards to play with Sid and Gino. Obviously, not a lot of them developed the way they thought they would. I think Mata, if he's healthy, will be great. I'm a huge Derek Pouliot fan. I've been a fan of him since his Portland Winterhawk days. And then, but going beyond the young guys, can Crystal Tang stay healthy? Why did they bring back Ben Lovejoy at the expense of Pascal of Simone Dupree? I'm all right. Another first-round pick defenseman, a guy that really developed pretty well. And then once he got to Anaheim, really took it to the next level. Can former BC Eagle Brian DeMoulin do, the things I think he's capable of doing? But watch your Clendenning this season. I talked about him earlier. I think, you look at his home run passes are amazing. Watching him play with the development team, watching him play at Boston University a lot. He loves to hit those streaking forwards down the wing, and they have an aforementioned guy named Phil Kessel who happens to have a lot of speed down the wing. So if he's able to do his thing, with this Penguin team, I think he could be one of the more underrated pickups of this summer. But the D, I think will. I guess figure itself out. A lot of local connections. I'm just looking at the training camp roster. Obviously, Clenny local for me. Clenny played at BU. DeMoulin played at BC. Lovejoy, BC, and Dartmouth. Will O'Neill played at Maine. He's a local kid from the North Shore. Scuderi, BC, Warsawski, Marshall, Massachusetts, and Boston University. So, again, pretty cool for Boston guy to see all these locals on the team. But we'll see how they do with the added pressure of playing for contenders. And a lot of these guys I picked up, O'Neill kind of washed out of Winnipeg's organization. Warsawski never really got a fair shake in the Bruins organization. So we'll see how they do with the Pens. Anyone on a minimum contract's good because make a reference to the sport. Look at the Miami Heat when LeBron was down there. They had him, Chris Bosh, and Dwayne Wade eating up so much cap space that you needed the guys like a Ray Allen that would be willing to take Birdman, Chris Anderson, Don that would take less money to play there. Guys with minimum contracts that can deliver are pretty good. I mean, even who was it from the Juwan Howard on a minimum deal, shit like that. If you can get guys that can help you and not eat up a lot of cap space when you're such a top-heavy team cap-wise, that's beneficial. And speaking of top-heavy cap-wise, Marc-Andre Fleury, who actually I thought had one of his best seasons as a pro last year, will be back with Jeff Zakoff backing him up. They got the kid Murray out of Sault Ste. Marie and Tristan Jarry out of the Edmonton Oil Kings, who is turning pro this season. So there's some good depth organizationally in net. We'll see what that can do. But, as for now, it's Flowers' team. So we'll see how that works out. I think the Penguins are going to playoffs next year. I think that if everything comes together, they can definitely make some noise in the playoffs. But they're in that rung. The big three in the East are New York, Tampa, and Montreal. I'd way shake them. Pittsburgh's in that rung right below them with the Islanders. Just squads like that. The Bruins are no longer in that mix. But I just think that they're top heavy, and as much as I like the depth, I like the depth now on paper. But we'll see how that how that comes to fruition. I mean, again, that second rung in the East would be pretty good. Pittsburgh, New York Islanders, Columbus. Not necessarily Washington, obviously. Maybe Florida if they peak. We'll see how that works out. I doubt it. Detroit, obviously. So we'll see how it all kind of comes together. But definitely one of the more intriguing storylines. Anytime you get Sidney Crosby on your team, it's going to be an intriguing storyline. Anyway, that's like an episode of the Power Play with CJ. Stay tuned for more episodes throughout the off season and beyond. Later, guys.